In this world, God created humans and then he created witches. The witches were given power and created with the express purpose of helping humanity as much as possible, and the witches agreed to do so in the spirit of friendship with humans. But then the 15th century happened, and now in modern day, a boy named Adonis and a witch named Chloe are traveling together. Adonis is exhausted from all the desert heat and asks Chloe why she can't just use some magic to make it cooler. While she could probably do that, that is not what her magic is for, and she is busy right now trying to find where they are on the map. However, Adonis is already one step ahead of her and uses his smartphone to find their location. Chloe yells at him because the government would be able to use that thing to track him, but he says it's fine since he made it himself, and it uses freeform summoning magic to replace radio waves with multi-dimensional photons. If you didn't understand what that meant, you're not alone. With this kind of technology, not even the military would be able to track the phone down. He then mocks Chloe for not having a master's degree in anime science voodoo and still using paper maps in this day and age. Chloe doesn't take too kindly to being called stupid by Adonis, so she gives him a good smack on the head. Afterwards, she tells Adonis to get up so that they can continue their journey, but while he isn't upset about the smacking, he questions why they need to keep running constantly. Chloe keeps a cheery smile on her face and says the reason is because she is a witch, and the world hasn't changed much on their views since the 15th century, so witches are still hated by most people, and they are forced to blend in among the people while in the cities and go on the run when they are found out. But some places are at least witch-tolerant, and that is where they are heading to. If they get there, they may be able to reclaim the happy life they once had, and they could find a school for Adonis to attend. However, he says he would rather study under Chloe, leading her to believe that he has a thing for older women. Adonis is amazed that Chloe is still able to smile like that despite everything that the kingdom of Rhedia has put them through. It would make sense for her to hate the kingdom with every fiber of her being and devote all her time to bringing its destruction. Yet she chooses to hide away instead. He doesn't understand why she does this and wishes he could just kill all the humans that made them suffer. Just then, he notices a military squadron coming after them, so he pulls out his pen and plans to handle it himself, but Chloe says he is too inexperienced for this, so she'll do it instead. The king receives word that the squad that was sent out to capture Chloe has failed, and he is taking it all out on the messenger. He calls the man incompetent, and as the man tries to explain that it is a challenge to capture an ice witch with one squad, the king's men begin beating him up. Chloe has managed to escape the king thus far, but he doesn't plan on letting Chloe run anymore. Back to Chloe. After what she did to that squad, it is safe to say they won't be making it home in time for dinner tonight. Chloe puts away her magic staff and tells Adonis to follow her so that they can leave, but Adonis is upset about something. Why won't Chloe let him fight alongside her? She claims it is because he is inexperienced, but then he drops a big-ass sword from the sky as proof that he has every bit of necessary experience, and I will say that that is one hell of a resume. He knows the real reason for it, and it's because Chloe doesn't want him to kill humans since he is also a human, but he is sick and tired of not being able to protect her as the one he loves. Chloe embraces him and tells him that she understands, but their touching moment is interrupted as one of the machines from the dead soldiers has captured their location and the Empire is using that to teleport them from where they are into the capital. Green light surrounds them as they begin to float, and Chloe realizes that this must be large-scale teleportation, but that should be too advanced to pull off. They've been caught, so Chloe and Adonis lock hands in order to not be separated from each other. Back in the capital, the king gives a speech to the people of his kingdom, which goes something along the lines of the witches used to protect us with their power, but we got jealous of their power, so we made our own power through the advancement of technology and have come to the age of the gear expansion. They have airships, they have buildings so sturdy that no storm could destroy them, and most important of all, they have smartphones to watch cat videos on. They no longer need the witches or their power for their survival, since they possess enough power on their own. And now that they have this power, they are going for world domination, with the only obstacle to that being the witches that can rival their military might. Therefore, they are going to eradicate all witches, and as he finishes his speech, Chloe and Adonis are teleported onto the stage. Adonis realizes what is going on and charges forward to buy Chloe some time to escape, but he gets tackled to the ground really quickly. Seeing the one person who she cares deeply for laid out on the ground, Chloe has lost all patience she once held for the humans and starts casting her spell. She had restrained herself previously because she knew if she were to destroy the human world, then Adonis would have no home to return to if anything were to happen to her, but now none of that matters as she is about to cast absolute zero and freeze the city over. However, as the spell is cast, nothing happens and she is left speechless. The humans develop some kind of machine to negate all magic in the area, and without magic, both Chloe and Adonis are completely powerless and at the mercy of the king. The king mocks Chloe for having helped humanity in the past, yet being hunted down and kneeling before him powerless. He then rips her shirt off in front of the entire crowd, humiliates her and smacks her to the ground. Meanwhile, the crowd is busy taking pictures to upload to Twitter. Adonis can't bear to watch this happen, so he once again charges at the king to save Chloe, but is subdued by the guards. The king has grown annoying with Adonis yelling so much and orders his guards to kill him. But as the guard points the gun at the head of Adonis, Chloe can't bear to see him meet his end here, so she throws her pride aside and begs the king to spare Adonis. She lies that she kidnapped him and raised him as her slave, so she begs the king to let him go as she doesn't care what happens to her afterwards. The king has no reaction to her plea and reaches into his pocket and pulls out his handgun, pointing it at Chloe's head. Adonis is having a breakdown over his lack of power to protect Chloe and keeps desperately trying to activate his spell, but it keeps failing. While staring down the barrel of the gun, Chloe looks to Adonis one last time, and Adonis has flashbacks to the time when Chloe first found him on the streets and took him in to raise him. However, even the power of flashbacks is unable to save them from this situation, and Chloe is about to say her last, "I love you," gets shot before she can finish. Truly the saddest moment of the season. After killing her, the king turns away and orders his men to pump her body full of lead, leaving her body as a mass of pulverized flesh. Adonis screams out in pain while the crowd cheers on the execution, and an axe is brought out to cut her head off. The king proudly displays the head of Chloe and proclaims victory over the witches. But you know Adonis is never going to forget what has transpired today and the friend he lost. 10 years later, a large chunk of humanity's situation has gone to shit, and they are suffering at the hands of the people who killed Best Girl, the kingdom of Rhedia. In a detention cell, two really malnourished women are fighting over a loaf of bread and are about ready to kill one another over it. But then this girl, who somehow manages to keep her makeup game on fleek while in prison, offers her loaf of bread to them to settle the argument. I personally wouldn't do that, but she seems really happy to have them no longer fighting, even if it means no bread for her. One of Daroka's friends, Anna, comes over and asks if she will be okay since she hasn't eaten anything in a while, but she says she is fine and full of energy. Anna tells Daroka that she is really kind-hearted despite the current state of the world. No matter how far advanced the technology of the world became after they no longer had witches to point their guns at, they began pointing their guns at each other, and a never-ending war was waged within the human world. The people were led to believe that the world would get better once all the witches were gone, that this is definitely not better, and here they are in the gulag. Daroka notices that Anna is upset, so she tries to cheer her up with a little puppet show. Even though they were dragged here after they lost to the kingdom, but it will surely work out somehow. The puppet show manages to brighten Anna's mood slightly, but that brightness quickly fades as a guard comes in and starts yelling for number 218 to come out. So far, 4 people have been called out like this, yet no one has ever come back after they were called out. The guard continues to tell for number 218, and as Anna looks down at her hands,